plant and then you're done. It's like a slow roll, y'all. That's the secret sauce. That's the jam. That's the superpower of, ooh, we are live, friends. You don't raise to plant and then you're done. Hey friends, welcome to the live gardening show. It is your friend in flowers, Lisa, and I wish this was smell-o-vision, y'all. You know what this is? This is Miss Burns Lemon Basil. This is our secret weapon in our little cutting gardens for our bouquets, because what's the first thing people do when they get their flowers? Lift them up. Friends, welcome. In case we've never met, I'm Lisa Mason, I can't even say my name, Lisa Mason Ziegler, and I'm the owner of thegardenersworkshop.com. And I was a professional flower farmer, cut flower grower for over 25 years. And I'm now on a mission to help other people learn how to grow beautiful cut flowers, whether it's a little patch in your backyard of your home or to even start a business. And so to grow cut flowers for pleasure or for profit, and to do it, I have all the tools, seeds, and supplies that you need to do it. So in today's live show, I'm going to be sharing about cut flower gardening is for everybody. It doesn't matter if you need to have a little 3 by 5 foot cutting garden, which is like one of the best cutting gardens to have. You know, why I love cutting gardens so very, very much, who can benefit, and how I do it with my tried and true methods and the things that I do it with. We're going to do live demo, an introduction into soil blocking, the main way that I start seeds. We're going to talk about what I'm planting now, and then we're going to finish up with a little live Q&A. And if you have a question you'd like for me to try to answer, in the comments, just put @Lisa and whatever your question is. And Jessie will gather those up and then feed me a couple of those. So, and just a side note, guys, Jessie and I are manning the show tonight. Jessie's actually in Kansas. I'm here in Virginia. And we are like crushing it, y'all. I'm just so proud of her and her efforts to do this. It's a little like doing it blindfolded. And so we just are so glad y'all are here to be a part of all of this. So before we get started, we know that the reason that we have so many people here at every one of our shows is because y'all tell your friends about it, and we appreciate that so very, very much. Now down at the bottom, and I've got the show up on my phone. Down here at the bottom, there's a button that's a square with an arrow, and that allows you to share with your friends the show and to invite them. And we would love for you to do that. And I am so grateful when you actually do it. And did you know that we now have 2 shows? So we have this Wednesday night, 8 p.m. time slot, which is fairly new. We've been doing it for about 4 to 5 weeks. But our big show is on Fridays at 12 noon Eastern time. Same place, just at a different time. And I hope you will be there for that one also. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we dive in. Please double check your email and your phone number here in the app. Check it for typos. Make sure it is an actual email that we can reach you. We have to have an email to be able to send a tracking ticket. So please double check those. And just a reminder that seed packet only orders ship for free. We cover the shipping on those, and standard product shipping is capped at $11.95. What that means, it doesn't matter how many products you buy, shipping is still just $11.95. And we are proud to ship to all 50 of the United States, and unfortunately we are not able to do any international shipping. So if you have joined us from social media, if you've just come across us on Instagram or Facebook, we are so glad that you have found us. But what I want you to know is that we have an actual phone app. It is free. And why would you want to get the phone app? Because it just changes the experience of the show. You can do things like build a favorites list, you can watch replays, and most importantly, you can comment with the other live viewers, and there's always a lively conversation going on in there. And then on Fridays, we do a giveaway. And to be able to participate in that, you have to be inside the app. So to get it, you can jump over to your phone's app store, search Gardener's Workshop, and download the Shop app. It's free, and we'll wait for you right here. It doesn't take but about 30 seconds to download it once you get over there and find it. So we'd love for you to be able to have that. And remember, when you're in the app, you can also swipe the comments away. If the comments are blocking your view of whatever I'm doing or saying, you can swipe left or right, and then you can bring them back the very same way. So also, we typically sell out of stuff during the live shows. So if you go to put a product in your cart and it says out of stock, get on the wait list, I recommend you do that, because frequently a team member is bringing more stock over from our big website. And so that just means you'll simply get a little notification. Another good reason to have the actual app, right? And so if you're seeing anybody post the sunflower emoji, which is a big part of our logo, right? And sunflowers were a huge part of my flower farm, y'all. Those are people identifying themselves as a part of the TGW family. And that is because they are students or club members. They're students of our online courses, or they're a member of my Flower Farmer Club. And we absolutely love it when they give us a big shout out. It kind of makes my heart swoon, y'all. So what I want to talk about tonight is that cutting gardens really are for everyone. Why do I love it? I absolutely I did it today. I ran out, a friend called up and said that his wife was sending us dinner. I mean, is that not the best gift that's ever been given? That's a really big thing in our community. Frequently time people, when you're sick or somebody dies, you get food. Well, we have friends that just do it, called up and said, I have dinner. So what did I do the minute I heard that? I ran out to my cutting garden and I cut some flowers and put together a quick bouquet. Literally took me probably less than 5 minutes. And put it together, rubber banded it, dropped it into a bouquet sleeve just to dress it up, and I was giving it to a man to take to his wife, and it protects the stems in case he lays it on the seat or drops it or whatever. I absolutely love having a cutting garden. Probably the best part for me is sharing my flowers. And I have heard hundreds and hundreds of stories of other people that have actually experienced that. And that's one of the greatest gifts, one of the most untold parts of having a cutting garden is really the sharing of the flowers, because it's different. I believe it's a really great idea for you to pick up flowers wherever, whenever, to give to somebody. I'm not saying that's not a good idea, but when you give flowers from your little cutting garden, friends, you haven't touched people in a place like that does. They look at those flowers and they can't believe you've grown them. And that sticks with them through the whole life of that bouquet. I have the notes from people saying these things. And it's just phenomenal. And that's one of the most untold pieces. And I would love for you to experience that too. And you can. So who can benefit, right? If you think you don't have a green thumb, friends, just stick around here for a little while and we'll have you growing amazing flowers, because it's literally just following a few ground rules and you will be doing it. And I have those messages from people too, that they'd never dreamed that they'd be able to grow flowers that could be cut and that they could have in a cutting garden. And if you're a vegetable gardener, my goodness, friends, it all starts with flowers, y'all. It brings in the pollinators. My book, Vegetables Love Flowers, that's what it's all about. Why you would want to drop a little cutting garden right in the midst of your vegetable patch. So you can cut the flowers when you're out there gathering up your tomatoes and your peppers. But It's who those flowers just bring into the garden that benefits your vegetables so very, very much. And if you've already got a landscape and you're snipping from it, maybe you have some hydrangeas and some peonies around your yard, or a peony and a hydrangea, a little annual cutting garden, which is what we're going to look at tonight, is the perfect companion for that. I mean, you aren't going to believe how small, easy it can be, and it's going to ramp up your cutting abilities from what you can cut from your garden. And if you are one of the thousands of people that think you might want to become a flower farmer, friends, this night is for you. It all starts with learning how the process works. And because a cutting garden is so different than a landscape, you treat it different, it reacts different, you don't need a lot of space. So this is for you tonight. And so I'm going to be going through just a kind of skimming of how I do it, the steps, but I'm going to give you resource options for how you can learn more if you need to, right? And all right, so first up, let's talk about the main resource. Friends, if you don't already have my book, this is the Cut Flower Handbook. And so this is my third book. And my whole purpose of this book was for that person that comes up to me and says, oh, this is what I hear. Oh my gosh, I have a brown thumb. I can't grow anything. I would love to have a cutting garden, but I just don't know what to do. And I wanted a book to be able to say, here is the book that will take you through step by step. And if you're new here and aren't familiar with me, I tend to be very black and white in my teaching. I get rid of the fog. It's like very simple steps for you to actually follow along. So the Cut Flower Handbook is an amazing resource for you to do that. And I wanted to show you something. First off, when you purchase the book from us, you get a PDF download bonus, which is some flowers that we couldn't fit in the book. And you get it by, we have this bookmark, and there's a QR code on the back of it. You just scan that and you'll download it. And that's what the PDF looks like. It's basically the same format as the book, but look at this. This is the table of contents, y'all. Look at these images. Absolutely amazing. There's 4 sections to the book. The cut flower concept. That is where I tell you the most successful people start really, really small. You do not need a big cutting garden to have a great, you have better success with a smaller cutting garden. And then it takes you through the steps of why and how it works and really just sets you up for success. Then the second section tells you how to do all those steps you just learned about, from preparing the soil, building a bed, even if you have crummy clay soil, how to set it up for low maintenance, how to plant, mulching it. And then it even takes you through cutting the flowers and where to cut and just all of that. And the last 2 sections include over 66 different flowers. And each flower featured has all the same information, which varieties, how you start it, when you cut it, where do you cut it, everything you need, friends. It is so simple and easy when you just have a few simple steps to follow. Beautiful cosmos. So I sign all the books, would love to sign a book for you. So that is the Cut Flower Handbook. Now, a really big part of growing cut flowers is you have to start from seed, because you will not find cutting garden varieties available down at your local garden center. And that is because home gardeners or people for landscapes don't want tall flowers because they'll fall over, right? But we want tall flowers for cutting garden, so you have tall stems to do what we want to do, right? So you have to start from seeds, but do not be fearful, y'all. It is so simple when you follow some rules. So I'm going to demonstrate soil blocking for you, but I wanted to just show you a couple of samples. First, this is coxcomb celosia. This little tray, which is 5 1/4 inches square, is holding 20 plants, y'all. 20 different plants. And I wanted to just show you, I'm going to pull this. Look at the roots. These are 4 weeks old, by the way. Look how amazing those are. So soil blocking drew me in years ago because I cannot have any greenhouses or hoop houses. I live in the middle of a city. I have a city flower farm. I live in the middle of a city, no structures allowed, so I had to find a way to start a lot of seeds in small space. I lived in a bungalow. I still live, well, it's kind of a bigger bungalow now, but I had to do everything indoors, so I really needed to find a space-savvy way. So this is 20 plants. These are ready to go to the garden, by the way. This is the perfect size, 3 to 5 inches. And look at these. I showed you these when we were opening up. This is the lemon basil. This is 3 weeks old, and they have another week to go. And this is 60 plants on this 11.5 by about 5.5 inch tray. Y'all, the smell is heavenly. This is our secret weapon. So soil blocking is what I attribute to why I was able to become a flower farmer, because I found a way to actually be able to start massive amounts of seeds in my little grow room instead of having a big greenhouse, which is what most growers have. So I want to show you the soil block maker kit first, and then I'm going to demonstrate. The soil block maker kit has been our customer most favorite item that we've sold since 2005. It's just a steady one. And it's because it has everything in it you need to start soil blocking. So this kit includes the small blocker, and we import these from England. You do need to be aware that there are counterfeits out there now, and they even have the Ladbroke name on them, y'all. You have to be very cautious. When you see these tools at half the price of what everybody else is selling them at, they're knockoffs, and they are not good tools. They break almost immediately, so beware. But when you're buying them from us, you're getting the authentic Ladbroke soil blocker. So the soil blocker is included. With this kit, you also get your choice of 3 packs of seeds, and you choose between either 3 warm season, thought I had that upside down, 3 cool season seeds, or you can select 3 warm season seeds. And you do that when you're checking out. This kit also includes my online course, Seed Starting Made Easy. This course takes you from starting, growing them up inside, hardening them off, and getting them out to the garden. And also it includes a session on direct sowing out in the garden, and even planting sunflowers in a plug tray. So that is included in the kit. The kit also includes a bag of our ready-made mix. This bag will make approximately 600 of those small little 3/4 inch blocks. So it's enough to get you through, if you're a home gardener, probably your first season. And it includes 5 of our foam reusable trays. We reuse these trays, y'all, for years. It also includes the seed pan, the little plant IDs, and our toothpick dispenser, because we use toothpicks to sow the tiny seeds from this little seed pan. So you get all of these things, and I'll try to pick all this stuff up. I am so not coordinated, y'all. All right, so I'm picking up all this stuff, and it includes the bag of mix, and you get all of this together, and it's like an over 15% savings versus buying all this stuff separate, which you can do that too. That's all in the app. So that is the soil block maker kit. Now I want to demonstrate how you make the blocks, and it is super simple, y'all. So let's move all this, and let's make way for my tub. And I was telling Jesse as we were signing on for this, I said I'm going to do my best to not knock my computer off the table with me doing this. I mean, there's just a lot of moving parts here, and now I have to move the camera. All right. So now I'm bringing you guys in for a closer look. Now, we do use, soil blocking uses a little bit different blocking mix or mix than what most seed starting material is for other methods. And it's because, as you saw with these little blocks, the block is the container, y'all. And so it has to bind together. I mean, look at those. Look at those roots, y'all. That's basil. So you want to be able to pick them up and hold them, but even more than that, you want the mix to be dense, because not only does that grow an amazing root system, it also helps it to hold moisture. So we have the ready-made mix, but we also have the recipe for you to make your own at home, available on our website all the time. So you add water to the mix. It's 3 parts of the ready-made mix to 1 part water. So there's about 20 cups of mix in here and about 7 cups of water. So I have my soil blocker, and literally, and you know, obviously you have to practice this a little bit. I've been making soil blocks for over 30 years. And when we were in high production, y'all, we were doing this 100,000 a year, literally, with this little blocker. And it worked great. So here's one of those trays. You can see we use them over and over again. We use trays with no drainage holes and a flat bottom. You know what that means? That means that you can place your trays anywhere inside your home and not have water running out of them. So you could do it in a spare bedroom, in a laundry room, wherever you needed to. So then I give a push and a pull, and just like that, friends, we just made 20 little containers. And then we would sow our seeds. I use this size block like 99%, 98% of the time. I use this size for any seed. The only time, let's put that backwards, the only time I don't use this block is when the seed is too big to fit. I use this block for cosmos, marigolds, zinnias, celosia, snapdragons, all the herbs, all those little seeds. And even the bigger cosmos, you spear them in, y'all, and it does great. So I want to show you the next size up block. I want to show you a couple of samples first. So look at this. These are my pepper plants. These are the most beautiful. Let's see how you can see these. These are the most beautiful pepper plants, and y'all aren't going to believe the roots. Look at this. This is what happens to you when you farm for a living, y'all. Look at those gorgeous roots. Now, these are about 5 weeks old. They were started in the small block. Can you see the small block that's been dropped down inside of this block? Potted up when they were about 2 weeks old, and they've been in this block for 3 weeks. Do you know what the roots would look like if that pepper had been dropped into a container? They would be so root bound by now. But because they're in a soil block, they get air pruned. It is so phenomenal. So what do I use the 2-inch block for? I use it for what I just showed you. I only pot up, this little guy doesn't want to fit back, there you go. I only pot up like this with just a handful of different types of transplants. Like, for instance, I mean, literally less than 5 probably. Tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, and I do this for eucalyptus. All the rest, I start them in the small block and they grow in the small block until they go to the garden. So what else do I use the large blocker for? For larger seeds. Think sunflowers, sweet peas, cuttings, zucchini, squash, those types of seeds. So the technique for making the 2-inch block is just a little bit different. You can see I'm just gobbling up a lot of soil. So the reason that I resist using the large block, unless that's absolutely what I need to use, is because not only does it use 12 times the volume of the soil, but the space issue. Remember, I'm a small space farmer. I don't have a greenhouse. I don't have unlimited space. Look at that, y'all. We just made 4 2-inch blocks, and I'm going to actually drop a little pepper in here. Let me just move my stuff a little bit here without dropping something. So I wanted to show you this before I pot up this pepper. Look at this. So you can fit another set of 4 on here. So that would be 8 2-inch blocks on this tray. There are 60 basil on that same size tray. that grow in that small block until it goes out to the garden. So do you see the space savviness and also the volume of soil you have to use? And so I have these little peppers here, like you just saw that are, these are rooster peppers. And so if I wanted to pot up the rooster peppers, literally, I would use that little ID tag that comes in the kit. And this is the perfect size little plant. And y'all, this is the funnest part of soil blocking. You literally just drop this block right into that hole, and that's potting it up. That's it. You're done. And they're going to grow on to become what we just saw there, right? And I'm afraid I did skip over, sorry Jesse, I did skip over one product, and I'm gonna, the soil blocker by itself, and we'll come back to that. But that is how you make the blocks and why I use the small blocker almost exclusively, except when I need to use the big blocker for squash and zucchini and potting up the few things that we do. Now, I'm gonna put this away. And so I wanna go back and say, so we had the kit. You can purchase just the large blocker, which is what we just looked at. And I'm trying to keep up with Jessie to see what she's, yes. So she's showing, this is the 2-inch blocker, and it actually comes with these nipples. And that makes a little indention in the top of the block to receive your seed. But it also includes these inserts. You can pop these white nipples out, insert, just pop literally these inserts in, and that makes that perfect hole on the top of the 2-inch block to receive a 3/4 inch block. Which, if you're a home gardener, I'm telling you, if you have not grown tomatoes, and I have some tomatoes here too, y'all. We just potted these up. Look at the roots that are starting to come through. It's roots you've never seen on plants before, y'all, because they're so root bound, because roots grow, they hit the side of a container and they turn and grow. When they hit the side of a soil block, they get air pruned and they just kind of stop and wait. They'll definitely grow into their neighbor if you leave them too long, but that's really okay. But they get air pruned. It is pretty fascinating. So when you buy the 2-inch blocker, the inserts are actually included with that. Now, you can also purchase separately just the small blocker. And that's what this is. You know, if you are already seed starting and you think that you just want to try the tool, this is the one for you. And so it does come with written instructions that includes the recipe so you can make it for yourself at home, or you can actually purchase here in the app separately the blocking mix, a 6-quart bag, which, as I mentioned, makes over 600 of these individual little 3/4 inch blocks. So that is the soil block, the small soil block maker. All right, so let me move up my deal here. So that's it for seed starting for now. Soil blocking is just a super simple, effective, space savvy, very earth friendly, because all you add each year is more seeds and soil. We use the same trays literally for years and years. They just don't break down like the black thin stuff, like cell packs and trays, that kind of stuff. So let's move on to the next step of how I set my garden, my cutting garden up to be super low maintenance as possible. And that, my friends, is the way that after I've prepared my garden, which in the Cut Flower Handbook, I show how you can actually build a bed on top of your soil. If you've got really crummy soil and it's just a backbreaker, how you can build up. What I use is the biodegradable film. This looks like plastic, but it's actually a corn byproduct. I've used this for over 14 years, we figured out now, and absolutely love it. And why? And it's because lay in this film. This is why you see plastic being used on all the organic farms. It's because of its weed suppression. When you prepare your soil and immediately cover it with some type of film, then that prevents any of the weed seeds from getting the light that they've been waiting for to germinate. It just stops the process. So this is the biodegradable film. It's black on one side and light colored on the other side, and depending on what your temperature is as to which way you use which side up. So for us, late in the fall, through the winter, and very early spring when we make beds, we put the black side up because we really benefit from the soil getting warmed, right? It's cold or cool outside. This time of the year, we just made beds on Saturday and we put the white side up. What it's about is cooling the air temperature right at the soil level. That way you won't roast your transplants. So this is all comes in a 48-inch wide piece, which will cover up to a 36-inch wide bed. And y'all, this is so easy to plant through. This is not like landscape fabric that people are often confused by. This is super easy to pop a hole in. We use a dandelion weeder, a screwdriver, or a dibble. It is really, really easy. So 48 inches wide, and it's available in 3 different lengths. One is you can get a 1-pack of a 20-footer, you can get a 1-pack of a 50-footer, or you can get a 3-pack of a 50-footer. I'm sorry, a 6-pack, sorry y'all, 6-pack of a 50-footer, and then we even now have it available in 100-foot lengths, which is really great for the people that are embarking out in flower farming. A 1-pack or actually a 3-pack. So all of those selections are in your app, and you can, if you don't like, let's just say you're making a little home cutting garden, right? And you want to get a 20-foot piece. If you don't like the way it looks, after you get it all tucked in, and there's videos on the product showing you how to do it, you can put mulch on top of it. Just a thin layer of mulch just to cover it, and it'll just break down. But it blocks all of the light. I mean, it's world changing. It did for us. It allowed us to really scale our flower farm. So the biodegradable film is available, and I think you'll find that it's just a real time saver. So the next part of having a cutting garden is actually cutting the flowers, which actually, believe it or not, is the challenge for many people. They grow such beautiful flowers and they're so amazed and surprised by it, then they don't want to cut them because they're afraid they're not going to grow back, but they will. I promise you, friends. If you grow the ones I tell you to grow and just follow some basic steps, you will have tons of flowers. And these are actually my clippers. They actually have my initial on them. These are the clippers that I use. And I love them because they're small. You can see how they fit right in my hand. I used to use Felco number 2s probably for the first 10 years, but they were so heavy and big. I didn't realize how heavy and big they were till I put my hands on these. These are bonsai shears. I use them to cut woodies. I cut all my hydrangeas with this, our sunflowers, and all of our other flowers, and totally love it. And I keep a pair for normally 2 to 3 seasons. And how is that even possible? Well, first off, they're just great little clippers. But secondly, the next item is the pouch. This is my pouch, which is actually over 20 years old, y'all. This is what it looks like new. And this is mine. And why do we love it? Because it has a clip instead of a belt. You don't have to wear a belt. And so you can just slide it onto your pocket or your waistband. And when you have one of these on your side at all times with your clippers in it, you never lay your clippers down again, ever. And that's how you do not lose them. So the pouch and the shears are available separately, and they probably, I think, even have a set in here in the app that you can buy them together and have a little bit of a savings. But this is actually my shears and pouch, but we'll send you all new ones. But those are, once you get a pair of these, you will never go back. We absolutely love them. All right, the other tool that are here on our farm that just about we now have a guy that helps us on the farm, Andrew. And I always say the girls carry these just like they're their purse. They absolutely love this, and I'm going to say it anyway. Every girl on this farm carries one of these out on the farm and just doesn't go out without it, just like she carries a purse. This is the Japanese grass weeder, and we absolutely love it. It's a left-handed model, and there's a right-handed model. And this is a tool that we do so much with. Not only do we weed with it, we grade with it. We actually can pull a little trough to plant our seeds in, which all of that's in the book that tells you how I do that. And it just does a great job. And I just want to tell you that the way that the hoe blade works is flat on the ground. You sink it down about a ½ inch and you pull it through the soil without bringing up a lot of deeper soil, which has more weed seeds in it. And it works like a gem. When you go to, excuse me, when you go to check out, it'll actually ask you, do you want a left or a righty? And you make that choice. This has been the #1 hand tool that we have sold for all these years. We absolutely love those guys. And then last up, I want to talk about the cutting garden seed collections. So this is this cut flower seed collection. And this is a workhorse, y'all. These are the flowers that we still plant on our flower farm today. These are the main crops. And so this little seed collection includes 6 individual packs: giant Benary's zinnias, the lime green zinnia, my favorite, the little double zinnias, the Oklahomas, the Pro Cut orange sunflowers, our secret weapon, basil, lemon, and cinnamon mixed together, as well as the coxcomb. The collection includes a little plan. Y'all, this is for a 3 by 10 foot garden. That's like a picnic table size. This is possible for most people. If you don't have that much space, cut it in half and make a 3 by 5. It definitely works. And then this collection also includes some additional instructions that I've written. And you get all the seeds are individually packaged. And this is a perfect test garden if you're wondering about being a flower farmer. But if you want a home garden, cutting garden, this is going to give you a couple of handfuls a week once summer gets started. One for your table and one to share with a friend. And I tell you, another seed collection that is so very, very fun. You can cut it. That was our intention, but you don't have to. This is the sunflower seed collection. And this too has 6 individually packaged packets of sunflowers, and all of these make great cutting sunflowers, and they have a suggested diagram in the back, and they too have individual or additional instructions. And what's fun about this one, especially growing this with kids, or if you're a bird watcher, plant this according to the plan and then leave them out in the garden and watch the seeds develop, and the finches and the chickadees and all the songbirds just flock to the garden to actually gobble them up. So these seed collections are discounted when you purchase them in the seed collection, but it has additional information, so they are just a great opportunity. Now, if you were late joining us and you have a question you would like for me to try to answer, you can put @Lisa in the comments, and Jessie will gather up some of those and feed me a couple of them. And so, friends, it's time to wrap up, and I want to remind everybody that over on our big website, thegardenersworkshop.com, we have so many resources, y'all. We have videos, we have blogs, we have 2 podcasts, Field and Garden and Seed Talk. And a reminder that this Friday on the show at 12 noon, right here inside the app again, the theme this week is which to choose, direct sowing or indoor seed starting. We're going to be talking about the challenges on both sides of that fence. And so stick around for the live Q&A, or if you're heading out, thanks for joining us, and I was really pleased to have you here with us tonight. So Let's do a question. I have eucalyptus that is about 4 feet tall. How short do you cut it back? So when you're harvesting it, first off, that's in the book. It talks about where to cut it. So eucalyptus typically has a central stem and then it has a bunch of branches. We usually cut the central stem back to the length that we really need for a cut, which is about 3 feet normally. And then that encourages the branches to go on and continue developing, and those will be future cuts. So that's what I think you're saying. So if yours is 4 foot tall, you must live in a southern area to have that much growth. Ours is like 12 inches tall. So congratulations. So how do I control bindweed? Oh my gosh, that is the bane of everybody's existence. You know, that is something other than, I mean, in a small garden, if you never get rid of it, you control it as you asked. And it's pulling it before it goes to seed. But unfortunately, there are millions of seeds in the soil. And I'm sure that if you have it in a garden, and to make the commitment to say, I'm gonna, take steps to extinguish the seeds here, whether you use a silage tarp or smother with a cover crop, you have to give up growing a garden for a couple of years to really make that effective, I think. But I would definitely search engine that to find what are the different methods of controlling bindweed. We do have it, but not like some people do. So I'm not equipped to answer that for you. How long do you leave the sunflowers under lights after the tray sprouts? So that's a really great question. So we start sunflowers typically either in the 2-inch block or in plug trays, depending on how many you need. We sprout them on a seedling heat mat, and then we move them to a grow light, either a grow light for about a week to get them a little bit bigger before they go outside, or if I have a protected place outdoors, not from the sun and the elements, but from birds and rabbits getting them, I move them straight outside after they sprout so that they're sprouting and growing up in full blasting sun. And then we plant them when they're 2.5 to 3 weeks old. How do you get strong stems? These are just the best, aren't they? I've been showing these boogers off all week. Look at this celosia. And I will tell you, so this is like 4 weeks old, right? This celosia is like, same kind of celosia, 2 weeks old. And see, they're still a little wobbly, so they really thicken up in those last, look at these guys. Those stems are just really amazing. And it's a combination. Soil blocking, first off, I just believe it just grows such healthy starts in such a healthy environment. And then the blocking mix that we grow in, we start them on a seedling heat mat, which really gives them vigorous root development. And then we put them under strong grow lights or good grow lights. And then we get them outside as quickly as possible. See, these plants aren't meant to grow indoors. They don't want to be inside very long. So just as soon, like these guys are out on the carport, these little fellas, they were just moved out yesterday. They need to be out in fresh air and getting natural light. And so it's that combination. And then, of course, we do use the Neptune Harvest seaweed fish fertilizer in my watering cans on Monday. When I water all the seedlings on Monday, I just add that measured to my watering can, and everybody gets a little meal. So that's pretty much it. So friends, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm glad you were here, and I hope to see you on Friday on the show that's direct seeding or starting indoors. Which is the best way for you potentially?